So the film I saw was called Weapons. Seems to be buzzing. Seems to be a buzzing movie because just from social media I keep on seeing people share it, and then when I posted I saw it, people were liking it. But it's the director who did Barbarian. Dude, Barbarian was like one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. And I've seen like a lot of scary movies. That movie was terrifying, dude. I would say that Weapons is a step down. It's more just like an action thriller, but when it gets violent, it's like super graphic. Oh, not a step down in like overall rating wise, but a step down in that Barbarian, like people probably have nightmares watching that one. Whereas this one, Weapons, it had some Stephen King vibes. It had some fantasy-esque vibes. It's kind of essentially about a witch. I hope that doesn't spoil it. I'm not going to delete it. But one thing I found interesting when I was reading about this Weapon movie. And it's got another 30-something-year-old actress in it. The girl from Ozarks. I can't remember her name. She's 31. There you go. Maybe us born in the 90s, maybe we just needed a little more time to make our way through the intricate systems of burned out old actors. I was reading about this Weapons movie, and one thing I found is that the inspiration from it actually came from a novel that I've talked about in this podcast. There were other things like film related that it was inspired by, but one of the inspirations listed by the director was this book by an author named Jennifer Egan called A Visit from the Goon Squad, which I've talked about on here and I've talked about in my life a million times because it's probably top 5 novels I've ever read. But it's like a rock and roll novel about it. So I think the way, at first when I read it, was inspired, that this Weapons movie was inspired by A Visit from the Goon Squad. I was like searching my mind, trying to figure out how that could possibly be. But I think the way that it is inspired is that the film takes place. It's like a series of interlinked vignettes. Like it'll say the character's name, and then that character will have like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, I don't know. The whole movie was a little over 2 hours. But it'll have their name, and then it'll have their story, and then it'll end, and then it'll have another character's name. But it's all taking place in the span of like 48 hours in the same city or small town or whatever. And so Visit from the Goon Squad, it's a novel, but it's more almost reads as like a short story collection where they're all revolving around these stories in relation to this record producer from the 80s till it came out in like 2008. But the vignettes kind of surround this guy, whereas this Weapons movie, all the little scenes revolve around this event of all these children disappearing. And so it goes through like the teacher of the class that all the people disappeared. It does like the principal, it does this cop, it does this like kind of drug addict dude. And it goes through these like vignettes. But I thought it was done really well where that it didn't feel like they were totally disjointed. It actually flowed beginning to end in a way that was like, it still felt like one script or one story. Script. Felt like one script. I saw Jennifer Egan read, the author of Visit from the Goon Squad. I saw her read from her novel Manhattan Beach in Iowa City when she came there. And it was so funny. I'll never forget this. So she read a portion early on in the book, or maybe even the first chapter, because that's what they do a lot, is they read even the first chapter. And then they do like a Q&A afterwards. And the first thing she says is like, I just need to say this, because it happens all the time when we do questions, like no spoilers, please. And then literally the first dude to raise his hand, it was like, I don't know how old he was, but he was like probably in his 60s or 70s maybe. But he raised his hand, he asked his question, and he literally, first person to ask a question, spoiled the end of the book. I feel like she kept her composure, but she was like, are you joking? Yeah, I'm a big fan of her. Goon Squad was good. I remember I need to go through and read them all again because she only has maybe 8 novels or something. I would have to go through them, 6 or 8 novels or something. But the one I remember is called "Look at Me," and it's about this model she gets in an accident and she has to do facial reconstructive surgery, and so she doesn't look like herself anymore. A couple of people wrote books like that. So that one, that Jennifer Egan one, it's like she gets her surgery and she's unrecognizable, but like still like she looks like she could be a model or whatever. But you know, models, their face is their moneymaker. And then the completely opposite end of that, Chuck Palahniuk wrote the one Invisible Monsters that like it disfigured a model so that they were like hideous. That's the male and female approach of that same narrative.